Have you ever experienced a moment when a book, a word of wisdom, or even a video appeared in your life at the perfect time? Not when you were desperately searching for answers, but when it arrived at just the right moment, when your soul was ready to hear it? It's no coincidence. It's not a lucky accident or just the result of a random algorithm. Just think back. Do you remember the time when it felt like everything around you was trying to send you a message? It's as if your consciousness was shifting, tuning into a different frequency. Ancient masters understood this. They knew that real wisdom cannot be forced, it has to come at the right moment. They were aware that if wisdom arrives too early, it can be misunderstood, or worse, harmful. That's why they designed their most powerful teachings to work like a quantum library, holding the wisdom in a state of pure potential. These teachings remain hidden, existing only in a field of possibilities, waiting for you to reach the exact frequency needed to access them. And now, because your energy has aligned, you are ready to experience this message. This is the observer effect. Your consciousness has tuned into this frequency, bringing this message into your reality. Many people try to force spiritual growth by consuming endless content, thinking that by doing so, they'll somehow ascend. But real growth is not about pushing or striving. It's about letting go and surrendering. It's about being receptive to what the universe is offering at the right moment. You were meant to find this video. This moment isn't an accident. It's part of a greater plan. Share this message with others right now, not just to pass it along, but to create an energetic bridge. With each share, you are sending out a quantum signal, connecting with another soul who is vibrating at the same frequency and is ready to receive this activation. And while you're at it, hit that subscribe button. Think of it as setting up a stable energetic link, a clear quantum channel that keeps your consciousness aligned and prepared for deep activations. When people first come across spiritual teachings, they often have expectations of material gains, wealth, success, or perfect relationships. They mistakenly believe that their mind can control the external world. But the real revelation comes when they realize that the teachings of the ancient wisdom offer something far deeper and more transformative. These teachings reveal a truth that our modern world has long forgotten. Consciousness is not a small spark created by the brain and confined to the head. Quantum physics, just like the ancient masters, knows that consciousness is the very fabric of the universe. Nothing, not even your brain, originates from the quantum field. It's where everything begins. Look around. Everything you experience, the sights, sounds, emotions, thoughts, happens within your consciousness. This is the only thing that causes things to happen. This is the meaning behind the ancient saying, "As above, so below." Your outer world is a perfect reflection of your inner world. This is where most attempts to manifest fail. People try to manifest wealth while feeling poor, or claim to love someone while holding resentment. They might scream at a mirror, trying to change their reflection, but the mirror can only show what's in front of it. It can't be forced to change. If you want to alter the reflection, you must first change yourself. You must shift your consciousness to match the reality you desire. If you resonate with this, click the like button. This isn't about an algorithm. It's a signal, a resonance of self-responsibility that you're sending into your quantum field, signaling to the universe that you are ready to take control of your reality. There's a story of a scholar who spent years desperately searching for power. He studied ancient texts, performed rituals, and did everything he thought was required to gain control over others. But nothing worked. Years later, when he had lost everything and was at his lowest point, he picked up the same texts again. This time his purpose had shifted. He wasn't looking to control others anymore. He was searching to understand himself. And when he read those texts again, his life began to flow in new ways. It wasn't the texts that changed him, it was his state of being. When his consciousness shifted, he collapsed a new wave function, choosing a different reality from the infinite possibilities available. If this shift has started within you, declare in the comments, "My consciousness is the source." This is your first step in consciously taking back your power from the external reflection and returning it to the observer, your true self. Let me share the story of Brandon, a blacksmith. For years, he fought against red-hot metal, shaping it with force and determination. His work was effective, but it lacked life. One day, While watching molten metal flow into a mold, he had an epiphany. Instead of fighting the metal, he realized that the metal wanted to flow into the best shape it could take. His role wasn't to force it, but to create the right conditions. In that moment, he understood a key lesson. You cannot force your spiritual growth any more than you can force a flower to bloom. This is the basic principle that the ancient wisdom teaches us. Spiritual growth cannot be rushed. Forcing it only creates resistance and slows the process down. Ancient masters knew that the path to true transformation has stages that cannot be skipped. The first stage is letting go of ego attachments. It's not about diminishing yourself, but realizing that your job, your status, or your roles don't define who you are. Life will show you the places where you're still clinging to false stories about yourself. This is the true dissolution. The second stage is humility, not putting yourself down, but recognizing that the consciousness of the universe is far greater than your mind can comprehend. This acknowledgement is the beginning of all wisdom. The third stage is stillness, a deep, inner calm that comes from being at peace with what is, without needing to change it. These stages are natural, and they unfold when the time is right. You cannot rush them. But when you are ready, everything will change. Let this be the moment you choose to align your consciousness with the universe's flow. You are not separate from the universe, you are the universe experiencing itself. The more you realize this, the more you will see how everything around you is simply a reflection of your inner state. Stay aligned, stay open, and let the universe work its magic through you. This isn't just the calm you experience when you meditate. It's the profound transformation into the still, empty space where all thoughts and emotions emerge. Many people strive to control their thoughts, to keep them in check. But this journey isn't about controlling what you think it's about, becoming deeply aware of your thoughts, being present with them as they arise. It's about getting comfortable with simply witnessing the flow of your mind without judgment. In the next phase of growth, you learn to receive without grasping. This is where the real magic happens. Being open to new ideas, to the gifts life presents, to beautiful moments unfolding around you without the urge to claim them, explain them, or use them to inflate your ego. There's no need to possess what comes your way, you simply allow it to be. Each soul enters this life at exactly the right moment, guided by what ancient wisdom calls time's divine chronos asterisk. Trying to rush through this process, to force things to happen on your own timeline, creates imbalance. It's like attempting to plug into a high-voltage power line. Without the proper wiring, you'll only get burned. There's a fine line between spiritual aspiration, which comes from the soul, and spiritual ambition, which stems from the ego. Ambition craves uniqueness. Desire, on the other hand, is the soul's natural pull toward its own truth. It isn't trying to escape your humanity, it's guiding you to make it more conscious. If you're ready to stop forcing and start letting go, say this in the comments. I trust my soul's natural path, By typing these words, you're sending a powerful signal to the universe that you're releasing the need for control and embracing your own divine rhythm. Consider the journey of the master blacksmith, Kenti. For years, he believed that power came from force. But even the toughest metals he forged would break under too much pressure. One day, frustrated by a stubborn piece of copper, he put down his hammer and simply watched. In that stillness, he realized that the metal didn't need to be forced. It wanted to move with gentle heat. When he worked with the nature of the metal, instead of against it, he created the strongest alloy he had ever made. This is one of the most profound lessons taught by the ancients. True power doesn't come from control, it comes from surrender. And this is not a sign of weakness. In fact, it's the most advanced form of power. Think about how difficult it is to remember a name. The more you try to force it into your mind, the further it slips away. But when you stop trying, when you let go of the struggle, the name appears effortlessly. The resistance you experience, the very thing preventing the outcome, is your ego's desperate need to be in charge. The art of quantum alignment is about letting go. When your frequency aligns perfectly with the universe's intelligence, you become entangled with what you want. You no longer chase after it, you let it find you. The ancients, like Thoth, taught 4 distinct ways to give up control. The first is giving up on results. This means having faith in the process, even when the end result is unclear. It's about releasing attachment to how things should unfold, trusting that the universe may have something far better in store than you could ever imagine. If you're ready to let go, click times like asterisk. This small action can be seen as your energetic yes to the universe, a moment of trust that allows the quantum field to work with you in ways that are nothing short of miraculous. To open your inner sight, press times like asterisk. Make this a conscious choice. By doing so, you are signaling to your awareness that you are ready to see beyond the surface, to move past the reflection, and to uncover the deeper quantum truth of what is. The second step is surrendering control of time. We live in a world that demands instant results, where everything needs to happen right now. But the universe moves in patterns that work in harmony. This concept is known as block time in physics, and it is where your desire already exists. It's not about forcing time into a linear progression, it's about allowing yourself to enter the present moment, which has always been there. The third step is letting go of your methods. Your ego has a fixed idea of how things should unfold and in what manner. This rigid belief prevents you from seeing the infinite ways the universe could work things out. The key to surrender is being open to the path even when it looks like a detour or a problem, because sometimes the universe's most extraordinary gifts come disguised as challenges. Surrendering is not about giving up your power, it's about aligning with the greater flow, trusting that the universe will lead you exactly where you need to go. When you release the need to control, you open yourself up to a life full of synchronicities, magic, and deep fulfillment. The deepest and most transformative step is letting go of the identity you've clung to for so long. It's about releasing the image of who you think you should be, so you can step into the person you truly are. The ego naturally fears this process. It fears the dissolution of the false self, which, unbeknownst to many, is nothing more than a prison. Your true power emerges when you stop defending that false identity and allow yourself to be fully authentic. This isn't about surrendering or giving up in the conventional sense. On the contrary, it's the most inspired form of action. It's a deep alignment of your will with the vast flowing will of the universe. It's like allowing the river's unstoppable current to become your own strength. If this resonates with you, if you feel the weariness of constant struggle, then speak this truth aloud in the comments. Asterisk, I align with the flow of power, asterisk. Let this be the moment where you energetically release the hammer of resistance, allowing the universe's strength to merge with your own. Michelle Campbell, an astronomer driven by a relentless pursuit, spent years searching for the legendary star prophesied in ancient texts. She spent countless hours at her telescope, meticulously mapping the stars and calculating angles, forcing her eyes to find what was eluding her. Then, after months of following the teachings of surrender, something remarkable happened. One night, she simply looked up, no maps, no calculations, just her gaze, and there it was, right in front of her. The star, brilliant and undeniable, burned brightly in the sky. But what truly stunned her was what followed. She called her colleagues over to the telescope, pointing them to the same exact coordinates. Yet, to their eyes, the star was invisible. They saw nothing but empty space. It could only be seen by those who, as the ancients described, had developed time's inner sight asterisk. In that moment, Michelle experienced the observer effect in its purest form. Much like watching a movie on a screen, we can perceive the effects what we see on the surface. The quantum field, the underlying potential, is like the projector before the image is cast. Asterisk inner sight times allows us to see beyond the surface, beyond the mere reflection, into the very cause of what is unfolding before us. How much time do you spend each day trying to change what you see on the surface? You attempt to fix people, situations, or things that are right in front of you. This, as the ancients taught, is where we experience suffering. We try to change the reflection in the mirror, unaware that what we're seeing is only the surface, not the root cause. To cultivate inner sight is not about becoming some kind of psychic. It's about putting your analytical mind to rest and allowing your awareness to expand and shift. The key is not trying to see, but rather to simply times let go, times of the need to control your perception. Imagine being able to peer into someone's mind, not just to observe their personality, but to sense the deeper currents beneath the surface. You might begin to recognize the lessons they are learning or the hidden pain driving their behavior. It doesn't mean you allow them to hurt you, but rather you respond from a place of deep quantum understanding. By doing so, you focus on addressing the cause, not just reacting to the effect. When you develop this inner vision, the world transforms. You start to perceive the layers that shape the reality in front of you. No longer are you bound by the reflection, you're guided by the deeper truth beneath it. And as you align with this flow, you find that you're no longer just observing life, you're participating in its vast, interconnected dance. The people who worked with Michelle couldn't see the star simply because their minds weren't tuned to the right frequency. What they saw in the sky was nothing but empty space, while Michelle, in her state of surrender, shifted her frequency. She allowed herself to perceive a different possibility. In that moment, the star became real for her. This was a shift in perception, not the mere observation of the world as it is, but the world as it times could times be, aligned with her internal state. Similarly, Rachel Phillips, a weaver by passion, spent years forcing patterns into her work, trying to control every thread, every movement. The harder she fought, the more tangled her efforts became. But the moment she released her grip, allowing the rhythm of the loom to guide her, something magical happened. Beautiful, intricate patterns began to emerge, not from her mind, but from a flow that she was now in tune with. On a cosmic level, Thoth understood this fundamental truth: the universe is always in perfect timing. Time, as we know it, is not linear. It's not divided into neat chunks of past, present, and future. Instead, time exists in a state of superposition, where every possible moment is present at once, unfolding in waves and rhythms. This quantum reality doesn't rush, it moves with its own pace, its own rhythm. In the world we live in today, we are taught to crave speed, to demand instant results, and this has created a world filled with stress and anxiety. We are disconnected from the very rhythms that govern the universe. Thoth taught that everything has its own time. There's a time to plant seeds, a time to nurture them, a time to harvest, and a time to rest and integrate everything that's been gained. These cycles exist at every level of existence. Your brain waves change with the day, your emotions move with the phases of the moon, and your energy flows with the seasons. On a deeper level, the cosmic rhythms, the cycles of the universe, determine when we are ready to receive certain wisdoms. It's not a question of if, but when you are energetically ready to embrace the truth that the universe is unfolding just for you. If you've ever tried to rush your growth or force things to happen before you were ready, you've experienced karmic imbalance. You're attempting to live in a frequency that you're not yet a vibrational match for. It's like trying to run a 1,000-volt program on a 100-volt system. The energy will short-circuit, and you'll be left frustrated and exhausted. That's why surrender is so crucial. It's about letting go of your attachment to a specific outcome or timeline. It's understanding that there's a difference between inspired action, which feels effortless and aligned, and forced action, which feels like pushing a boulder uphill. Trust the process, even when it feels like nothing is happening. Understand that the seeds of your growth are sprouting in the dark, where the most important transformations take place. The butterfly breaks down into liquid before it can emerge as a beautiful being. Your readiness is growing in perfect harmony with the universal rhythms. You can't force it, but you can align times with it. If you've been feeling rushed, overwhelmed by the pressure to move faster, say this in the comments. *I trust the process in all seasons. *. This is a declaration of faith in what's unseen, a reminder that even in the quiet moments, you are in a state of divine unfolding. Everything is happening exactly as it should, even when it seems like it isn't. Daniel Hayes believed he understood the nature of spiritual power. He had read all the books, contemplated deeply, and walked with confidence into the temple, ready to show his strength. But when he faced the first test, he failed. And then the second test came, and he failed again. No matter how hard he tried, it just didn't work. But after the third attempt, worn out, ashamed, and feeling that he had nothing left to prove, something shifted. He approached the test not as Daniel, the spiritual seeker, but as a vessel of pure awareness, and in that instant, the wall in front of him dissolved like mist. The paradox Daniel encountered was profound. The ego that seeks spiritual power is the very thing that blocks its flow. Your ego is not your enemy. It's merely a character in this game of life, helping you navigate through the 3D world. There's nothing inherently wrong with having an ego, but the mistake happens when you forget that you are the player, not the character. You've become too attached to the mask. True spiritual awakening comes when the ego stops using you. This shift is the time's great inversion. Times when your ego, rather than leading you, is transformed into something that serves your higher purpose. It's no longer about constantly asking, "What does this mean for me?" Instead, it becomes about seeing the bigger picture, understanding that the experiences you encounter are not for your ego's gratification, but for your soul's expansion. Thoth's teachings weren't about destroying the ego, they were about times clarifying it. It's about recognizing the patterns of the ego without judgment. You learn that you are not your thoughts, not your emotions, you are the vast, empty space where they arise. Letting go of the ego's need to be right, to be special, is where true freedom lies. An ego that is clear still functions, it still allows you to interact with the world, to make decisions, to communicate. But when your ego is clear, your true self, your soul, shines through it, and everything feels natural, effortless, and joyful. When you act from ego, everything feels forced. You feel competitive, needy, and driven by a deep sense of lack. But when you act from the soul, you feel curiosity, fun, and flow. The ego wants to gather experiences and external validation. But the soul knows that all experiences occur times within time's awareness. And it is in this awareness that true power lies. True power doesn't come from accumulating knowledge or learning more spiritual concepts. It arises from an emptiness of self. Megan Foster, an alchemist, spent years obsessively trying to transmute copper into gold, using every ancient method she knew. Yet, no matter how hard she tried, the metal wouldn't change. Exhausted and frustrated, she reached a breaking point in the early hours of the morning. But in that moment of surrender, as her need for a result faded away, a shift happened. Her mind calmed and her energy transformed. Almost as if by magic, the copper began to shimmer and change. It wasn't because of what she did. It was because of what she became. Megan's transformation mirrored the teachings of the ancient wisdom. True power isn't about doing more, it's about becoming more. The universe works in frequencies, and your mind is like a radio. The stations you can tune into are determined by the frequency you're vibrating at. When you change your internal frequency, you open up an entirely new world, one that was invisible to you before. Thoth, in his wisdom, recognized 3 distinct frequency ranges that govern our lives. The first is the time's survival frequency asterisk. This is the realm of fear, scarcity, and separation. When you're tuned to this frequency, your mind is consumed by threats, competition, and limitations. It feels like the world is constantly working against you, and that's all you can see. It's not about being unlucky, it's simply the frequency you're tuned to. The second frequency range is the time's transitional frequency asterisk. Here, you begin to feel more hopeful, open, and curious. Life seems to offer more possibilities. You begin to notice opportunities and synergies where they didn't exist before. This frequency represents a shift, a transition from survival mode to an awareness of potential. Things around you start to change because you've changed. The highest frequency is the time's mastery frequency asterisk, where love, gratitude, and unity dominate. In this state, you no longer just see the world, you recognize that you are actively creating it. You understand that who you are on the inside is what is reflected on the outside. From this place, everything flows effortlessly because you're in alignment with the universal rhythm of life. But here's the secret. You can't reach these higher frequencies through sheer mental effort. If you try to think your way into a higher state of being, you'll only stay stuck where you are. You need to become the new frequency. You need to feel it. The moment you click times like asterisk, feel your energy shift. Let that click be a signal that you've tuned into a higher frequency, one of love and mastery. Gratitude isn't just a practice, it's a frequency shift. Meditation isn't an escape, it's a tool to change your frequency. Quantum physics proves this. The observer effect shows us that our consciousness can influence the behavior of subatomic particles. Your mind is not merely a passive observer, it actively shapes the world you experience. By shifting your consciousness, you dictate which possibility from the quantum field will materialize as your reality. Say it aloud in the comments. Asterisk, I am the tuner of my frequency. Asterisk. When you type these words, you take ownership of your power. You are the operator of your consciousness, not a passive receiver of the old patterns of reality. It took Steven Phillips years to study the wisdom of the ancients. He followed the teachings, shed his ego, and transformed his awareness. But still, something was missing. He was frustrated by his life's circumstances and felt stuck. Then, one quiet Tuesday, sitting in his garden, something shifted. He stopped trying so hard. In a moment of deep surrender, the need to control disappeared. And that's when he saw it. He wasn't separate from the spirit that moved the trees, the light, or even his breath. It was all one, flowing together in perfect harmony. He realized, I don't need to convince the universe to work with me. I am the universe experiencing itself through the form of Steven. This is unity consciousness, the final and most profound realization. You are not a small fragment of existence. In every drop, you are the entire ocean. There is no separation between your awareness and the divine source or the quantum field. There is only one consciousness expressing itself through the unique point in time that is you. This is the truth that Thoth shared with us. If this truth resonates with you, if it vibrates in your cells, hit times like asterisk. This action becomes a powerful anchor that brings unity consciousness into your life, into your body, and into your everyday experience. The feeling of separation is not something to fix. The illusion of separation is the lens through which the universe experiences itself. Just like a rainbow forms when a beam of white light passes through a prism, the different colors we see are just varying frequencies of the same light. Everything is connected, nothing is separate. Spirituality isn't about striving to connect with God or some distant divine force. It's about remembering that you times are times divine. You're just temporarily human. When you're with others, you no longer see them as separate beings. You see them as another form of the same universal consciousness. And the only way to connect is through love. Manifestation isn't about chasing external desires. It's about aligning with the effortless flow of the universe and allowing things to unfold naturally. You don't need to change who you are. You simply need to let go and let the flow of the universe express itself through you. Imagine a great musician who knows she's one with the music she creates. She doesn't lose herself in the process. Instead, she lets her true, authentic style flow effortlessly. If this deep truth resonates with you, if it strikes a chord in your soul, say it in the comments. Asterisk, I am that which I was seeking. Asterisk. When you write these words, you are recognizing the truth within yourself. It's a full circle moment where the seeker and the sought become one. You are not becoming the light, you are remembering that you have always been the light. This ancient wisdom wasn't meant to be hidden in dusty old books, it was meant to be lived. True wisdom isn't about escaping this world, it's about changing how you relate to it. And now, you can begin to use this heart-centered, quantum reality to transform your relationships, your career, and your life. No longer do you need to change others. You change your frequency to one of love, and the reflection changes. You stop operating from a survival mode, just paying bills, climbing the career ladder, and instead you make every aspect of your life a sacred service. When you step into this higher frequency, your work, your relationships, and your purpose all align with the flow of the universe. The world will always try to pull you back into fear and separation. But these lessons are here for you now, guiding you back to your true self. The fact that you're reading this means your frequency is ready. You are not just studying, You are living these truths. You are a clear channel, a vital link in the quantum network of awakening. And this is just the beginning. Share this message, and with it, send a steady wave of unity into the world. By doing so, you strengthen the quantum network and help another soul find this truth at the perfect moment for them. Subscribe now to stay in this flow. As you do, you create a permanent link that ensures your consciousness continues to evolve as we all grow together. We're just getting started.